Welcome everyone, it's Sherry Carroll for SimonsStamp.com and I have a collaboration stamp set from Art Impressions for our STAMPtember celebration. This stamp set is called Nutty and Nice and it features three adorable women eating some fruitcake, and it just reminds me of possibly me and my sisters, and I love that they're all wearing the same pajamas or yoga pants. I've stamped the gals onto some Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock on the smooth side, and I've used the Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink because I will be doing some watercoloring and also using Copic markers. To color in the skin tones, I'll be using E00 and E51, and this is super easy, especially on watercolor cardstock. I'll just start with the E00 and color in all the areas of the skin. I'll go back in with the E51 and I will just add some areas of shading. So I'll be using this on the underside of their hands and feet, and also under their chins and around their collars. For the rest of the card, I'll be doing some watercoloring, and right now I'm mixing up a really nice coral color, and I'm adding a lot of water so I can get a nice wash. I'll start off with a little bit lighter color, and then later I can go back in and add darker color. I'm not looking for a real perfect look. My main goal is to color in most of the areas, and while that's drying, I can go back into some of the other areas and start painting in. I'm using a smaller brush for all of the smaller details, and I am adding some gray hair to my gal on the left, and I am leaving the hair color lighter at the top of the heads and moving in darker around the face line. I've turned my piece upside down so I can get a little bit better angle and I won't be smearing any of my wet paint on their clothing. But I'm adding a little red to the gal that's sitting on the right. And then my lady in the middle, she will be brunette, and so I'm just adding a nice brown tone for her hair color. I'll be keeping the slippers white, and I'm just adding a little bit of shading with some gray paint just towards the bottom and around the toes. These remind me of spa slippers or hotel slippers. I'm going back in with a little smaller brush from when I did the first wash, and I have more intense color. And I'm adding shading under the legs, under the arms, and around the waistlines. So it gives this a little bit more dimension. And the beauty of using your watercolors is you can go back in and add a little bit more intense color. It's always a good idea to start off light and then work yourself into darker colors. Once I had all of my pieces colored in, am creating a little bit of a shadow underneath them, and I have some watered down gray paint, and I'm just going and outlining just below those slippers and a little bit off to the right. Once my painting was dry, I trimmed that down and adhered it to a Simon Says Stamp side folding card. I've also die cut a frame from Audrey blue paper, and I've used the stitch rectangles to cut a hole that would fit just around my ladies. To add a little interest, I've stamped the FLORA background with Simon Says Stamp clear ink onto the Audrey blue frame, and that just gives it a nice watermark look. I've added a little bit of foam tape to the back of that frame so it sits up off the card, and I'm just peeling off the backing paper from that foam tape. And finally, to finish off my card, I have stamped the greeting on white cardstock with black ink, and it says, "May your Christmas be filled with stretchy pants and sweet treats." And I've added a little bit of foam tape to the back of that, and I'll just place it right on top of that frame, and it will sit flush with the girls sitting below. I hope you've enjoyed this inspiration using our collaboration stamp with Art Impressions for STAMPtember, and as always, thanks so much for watching.